I am here after leaving the hiding places of corpses and the gates of shadow, where Hades dwells apart from the gods. I, Polydorus, was the child of Chryseis' daughter, Hecuba, and Priam was my father, who, when there was danger that the Phrygians' city fall by Greek spears, terrified in secret, he sent me from the Trojan land towards the house of Polymestor, our Trojan guest friend, who cultivates this most fertile Chersonian land, which you see here, ruling his horse-loving people by the spear. My father secretly sent much gold with me, so that if ever Ilium's walls should fall, then his living sons would not lack livelihood. Since I was the youngest of Priam's sons, he also sent me furtively from the land, for I was able to bear neither armor nor spear with my young arm. So while the country's walls remained upright and the towers of the Trojan land were intact, and Hector, my brother, was fortunate with his spear, I grew quite well with the Thracian man, my father's guest friend, with upbringing like some sapling, a wretch. But when Troy and Hector's life are lost, and the hearth of my father's was razed, and Priam himself before the God-founded altar falls, slaughtered by Achilles' son, Neoptolemus, desecrated with blood, my father's guest friend then slays me, long-suffering for the sake of gold, and after the slaying, to the salty swell he released me, so that he himself could keep the gold in his house. And I lie upon the shore, sometimes in the seas tossing, borne along by the many cycles of the waves, unlamented, unburied. But now, above my mother Hecuba I float, having abandoned my body, suspended now already for a third day. For as long as in this Chersonian land, my ill-starred mother from Troy has been present, and all the Greek ships at rest lie thick on the shores of the Thracian land here. For the son of Peleus appeared above his tomb, and Achilles checked the entire Greek army, although they were directing their sea voyage homewards. He, Achilles, demands to take my sister Polyxena as a blood victim for his own tomb and a prize. And he will obtain this, and from his men friends, he will not lack gifts. The assigned destiny drives my sister to die on this day. 2 corpses of 2 children my mother will behold, my own and her ill-starred daughter, because I will appear in the surf at the feet of a slave woman, so that, wretch that I am, I can get a grave. For I demanded the powers below that I acquire a grave and fall to my mother's hands. So this will be mine as much as I wished it to happen. But now I'll withdraw away from the aged Hecuba, for here she passes from behind the tent of Agamemnon, fearing my phantom. Oh, you, mother, who, though born from ruling households, saw slavery's day, how your current misery matches your previous success, and some one of the gods ruins you in repayment for your earlier prosperity.
Lead the old woman from the house, children. Lead your fellow slave, lifting her up. Once your queen, you women of Troy. Take, bear, send, lift me, grasping my aged hand. And I, leaning on the twisted staff with my hand, I will speed the slow-footed step of my joints, placing it out in front of me. O blinding light of Zeus, O shadowy night, why ever am I carried away at night thus by fears, by phantoms? O mistress earth, mother of the black winged dreams, I send back the nocturnal vision, which through dreams I saw learned and understood as a fearful vision concerning my child kept safe at Thrace and about my dear daughter Polyxena. O gods of earth, save my boy, who the sole remaining anchor of my house inhabits snowy Thrace, under protection of his father's guest friend. Something new will happen. Some mournful song will come to mourning women. Not ever has my spirit so incessantly shuddered or feared. Whenever could I see the godlike mind of Helenus and Cassandra, Trojan women, so they might discern these dreams of mine? For I saw a dappled deer by the wolf's bloody claw, slaughtered, rent from my knees without pity. And this is my fear now. Achilles' phantom came above the high crest of the tomb. He was demanding a prize, some of the many troubled Trojan women. So from my girl, send this thing away. O gods, I beg you.
Hecuba, quickly to you I drew away, leaving our master's tents, where I have been allotted and assigned as slave, driven away from the city of Ilium at the lance's point, spear hunted by the Achaeans, relieving nothing of your sufferings, but bearing a heavy burden of news to you, lady, a herald of pains. For in the full assembly of the Achaeans, it is resolved that your daughter will be a sacrifice to Achilles. You know when he mounted his tomb and appeared with golden weapons, and he checked the seafaring flotilla whose sails strained at their ropes, shouting out this, where then, Danaans, do you think you're going, leaving my tomb without a prize?
A wave for great strife crashed down together. Rumor ran asunder through the Greeks' army of spearmen. To some it seemed best to give blood sacrifice to the tomb, while to others it didn't. But there was one looking after your welfare, the one keeping the god-visited Bacchans fed, Agamemnon. And the two sons of Theseus, the bathing shoots of Athens, were orators of double speeches. But they agreed in one sentiment, to garland Achilles' tomb with fresh greenery of blood. But they say they never preferred the bed of Cassandra to the spear of Achilles.
The efforts of the contested speeches were somehow equal until the shifty-minded, sweet-talking, crowd-pleasing liar, the son of Laertes, persuades the army not to reject the best of all the Danaans because of a slave sacrifice, nor that any one of the dead standing by Persephone should say how from Troy's plains the Danaans departed ungrateful to the Danaans who came on behalf of the Greeks.
Odysseus will come quite soon to drag your foe from your breast and launch her from your aged hand. But go to temples, go to altars, sit suppliant at Agamemnon's knees, call on the gods in heaven and those below the earth, for either prayers will prevent you from being bereft of your unhappy child, or you must behold her cast down on the tomb, a virgin blood reddened by a black gleaming string from her gold-bearing neck.
How unhappy I am. Whatever should I shout? What kind of cry? What lament? Wretched woman of wretched old age, of slavery not endurable, not bearable? Oi, moi. Who protects me? What family? What city? Gone is my old man, gone my sons. What path do I take? This way or that? Where is there some one of the gods or spirits to help me? Oh, you've brought suffering, Trojan women. You've brought suffering and pains. You have destroyed me utterly. No longer is my life admirable in the light. Oh, wretched foot, lead me, aged, to this hall here. Oh, child, oh, daughter of a most grievous mother. Come out of the house. Hear your mother's voice. Oh, child, come out so that you may know what sort of report I hear about your life.
Ah, mother, why do you cry? Heralding what news have you flushed me from the house like a bird with this terror?
Oh, my child.
Why do you mourn me? The prelude seems bad to me.
Your life.
Out with it, don't hide it any longer. I fear, mother, why ever do you raise your lament?
Oh, child of an unhappy mother.
But what is this thing you will announce?
Your slaughter. The collective wisdom of the Argives assign you as at the tomb for the son of Peleus.
Oh, no, mother, What do you mean? Explain those sad troubles to me. Mother, explain them.
I proclaim, daughter, ill-spoken rumors. They announce to me the judgment of the Argives. Vote about your life.
Oh, terribly suffering one. Oh, all enduring. Oh, mother of a wretched existence. Such an outrage, despised and unspeakable, has some God sent you. No longer here by you, no longer a wretched child by a wretched old woman shall I share slavery. For you will see me like a mountain-bred calf. You wretched will see me a wretched sapling, torn from your hand and cut at the throat, sent down under earth to the gloom in Hades, where with corpses I wretchedly shall lie. And miserable you, mother, I mourn you with tear-drenched dirges. But for my life, its outrage and mutilation, my lament takes no part, but a stronger fortune has befallen to me to die.
And now
And
look, Odysseus comes hurriedly by foot, Hecuba, to signal some new story to you.
Lady, I think you know the army's decision and that the vote is final, but still I shall speak. It seemed best to the Achaeans to sacrifice your daughter Polyxena at the high mound of Achilles' tomb. They assign us to be the escort and collector of the maiden. The administrator and priest of the sacrifice will be the son of Achilles. So you know what you must do. Don't be torn away by force and don't come into some scuffle of hands with me. Consider your defenses and the presence of your troubles. It's a wise thing to keep your wits even in troubles that compel.
Aye. A great trial is at hand here, it seems, full of groans and not empty of tears. And I, at least, did not die when it was necessary that I die, nor did Zeus destroy me, but he sustains me so that I see other troubles greater than troubles. I, the wretched one. But if it is possible for slaves to raise questions to free men, neither painful nor biting the heart, then it's necessary for you to respond in turn and for us who ask these things to listen.
It is possible. Ask away. I won't begrudge you the time.
Do you remember when you came as a spy to Troy, shapeless in rags, and from your eyes drops of blood dripped down your chin?
I remember. It didn't just touch the edge of my heart.
And Helen recognized you and informed me alone?
We remember that we'd come into great peril,
And as a humble man, you touched my knees.
so that my hand grew still as death on your robes.
What indeed did you say then, as my slave?
The invention of many words, so that I not die,
And then I saved you and sent you out of the land?
so that I see this light of the sun now.
Are you not therefore ashamed at these plans? You who experienced such things at my hands as you claimed you experienced, but you treat us not well, yet as badly as you can? Ungrateful is your race, you who value the demagogue's honors. Would that you were not known to me, you who when harming your friends don't worry, if you would say something, currying favor to the mob. But yet why, believing this to be a clever thing, did they set a vote of murder against my daughter? Was it that necessity compelled them to human sacrifice at a tomb, where it's more normal to kill cattle? Or was it that the desire to pay back the killers of Achilles with killing justly aims murder against her? But this girl did nothing wrong to him. Helen is the one he ought to request as sacrifice for the grave. That woman destroyed him and drove him to Troy. But if it's necessary that some one of the spear-won women die and one surpassing in beauty, this shouldn't come from us. The daughter of Tyndareus is most splendid in form, and she was found to be committing wrong no less than us. I set this argument in the competition for justice. Listen now to the things which you must answer back when I demand. You touched my hand, as you said, and this gray cheek in supplication. In return, I lay hold of the same parts of you, and I demand back the favor from then, and I beg you that you don't tear my child from my hands. Don't kill her. Enough are dead. In her I have joy and forget my troubles. This girl is my consolation in place of many. City, nurse, crutch, journey's leader. There is no need for rulers to rule what they need not, nor for the lucky to believe they will always succeed. For I was once also, yet I no longer am. But a single day removed all blessings from me. Still, O face of a friend, show some reverence for me. Give pity. Go to the Achaean army and dissuade them, since there is jealous anger at killing women whom you didn't kill earlier when you tore them from their altars, but you pitied then. Among you, there is a custom of equality to free men and slaves concerning blood. Your status, even if you should speak badly, will persuade, for a speech coming from the disreputable is not as strong as the same one coming from the reputable.
A man's nature is never so rigid that hearing your groans and lamentations of long weepings, it would not shed a tear.
Hecuba, accept my instruction and don't by your anger make the one who speaks favorably hostile in his thoughts. I am ready to save your bodily life, at whose hands I've been fortunate, and I don't speak in vain. And what I said to all I will not deny. Since Troy has been sacked, we give your daughter as a sacrifice to the first man of the army as he demands. For in this matter, many cities struggle, whenever some man, though noble and eager, still takes away nothing more than his inferiors. But to us, Achilles is worthy of honor, lady, a man having died most nobly on behalf of Greece. Isn't this therefore shameful? If we use him as a friend while he's looking at the light of day, but when he's dead, we no longer do? Well then, what will someone say if ever there appears again some mustering of the troops and some struggle with enemies? Will we fight, or will we be in love with our own lives, seeing that the dead man is not honored? And certainly, to me at least, while I'm alive, if I should have something small each day, it would be totally enough. But my tomb I would want thought worthy to be seen, for gratitude lasts a long time. But if you claim you suffer pitiful things, listen to me in response. There are among us old women and men no less wretched than you, and young brides bereft of their bridegrooms, whose bodies here the dust of Ida hides. Endure this. But as for us, if we think wrongly in honoring a noble man, we will accept the charge of stupidity. You barbarians don't consider your friends friends, nor do you hold in awe those who died nobly, so that Greece may prosper while you receive what matches your designs.
Aye, aye, slavery is always by nature bad, and it compels unnecessary suffering during violent conquest.
Oh, daughter, my words were thrown to the sky in vain concerning your murder. But you, if you have greater power than your mother, make haste, hurling all your voices like the mouth of a nightingale, that you not be deprived of life. Fall pitifully at the knee of Odysseus, and persuade him. You have the excuse, for even he has children, that he should pity your lot.
I see you, Odysseus, hiding your right hand under your cloak and turning your face back away, lest I reach out and touch your cheek. Courage. You have escaped my prayer to suppliant Zeus. Thus shall I submit, both for the sake of necessity and because I desire death. But if I shall not want it, I shall appear a base and life-loving woman. Why then must I live? My father was once lord of all the Phrygians. This was the first part of my life, when I was raised with lovely hopes to be the bride of kings, with no small envy in my marriage, whosoever's house and hearth I would approach. and I was an ill-starred mistress to the women of Mount Ida, and admired by wives and maidens, equal to the gods, save for death alone. But now I am a slave. First, the very name, unaccustomed, makes me love death. Then, the chance my lot would fall to masters savage in their hearts, the kind who'd buy me for silver, assigning the sister of Hector and of many others to compulsory cooking in the house, compelling me to sweep the house and to stand at the loom, passing the painful day. And my bed, a slave bought from some place will touch, a bed once thought worthy of kings. No, never. From free eyes I release this light, to Hades assigning my body. So lead me, Odysseus, and leading me put an end to me. For I see among us a courage neither from any hope nor expectation that I must ever prosper again. Mother, you, please don't get in my way, whether with words or actions. Share this desire with me to die before something shameful or unworthy happens to us. For whoever is not accustomed to taste troubles, he endures, but aches placing the yoke on his neck. He would be more fortunate dead than alive, for a bad life is a great trial.
The stamp of noble men is awesome and visible among mortals, and the name of noble birth goes farther for those worthy of it.
You have spoken well, daughter, but pain goes with the good. If there must be favor for the son of Peleus, and your side must escape reproach, Odysseus, don't kill this girl, but take me to the pyre of Achilles and stab me. Don't spare me, for I bore Paris, who killed the son of Thetis, striking him with his arrows.
Not your death, old woman, did the phantom of Achilles demand, but this girl's.
So then murder me with my daughter, and twice as much blood will fall for the earth and the corpse who demanded this.
Your daughter's death is sufficient, and one death must not be added to another. We don't owe yours.
There is great necessity for me to die with my daughter.
How so? I didn't know I'd acquired a master.
Nonetheless, like ivy to oak, so I will cling to her.
No, if at least you'd obey those wiser than you.
So I won't willingly release this child.
But neither will I depart, leaving this child here.
Mother, listen to me. And you, son of Laertes, give some slack to my reasonably enraged parent. And you, O wretched woman, don't fight the powerful. Do you want to be thrown down to the ground and scrape your aged skin, violently shoved off, torn away in public disgrace by a young man's arm, the very things you will suffer? Don't let it happen to you, for it is not worthy. But, oh my mother, give me your hand so sweet, and throw your cheek against mine, since never again, but just now, I shall behold the sun's final ray and circle. Welcome the end of my speeches. O mother who bore me, I depart now.
Pitiful you are, child, but I am a wretched woman.
There in Hades I shall lie apart from you.
Oh, no. What should I do? Where shall I end my life?
A slave I shall die, born from a free father.
Oh, daughter, we will slave in the light.
Unmarried, without wedding songs that were my rightful lot.
And we now have lost our share of 50 children.
What should I say for you to Hector and your aged husband?
Announce that I am the most wretched of all women.
O bosom and breasts that gladly nursed me.
O daughter of a fate miserable and out of season.
Farewell, mother, farewell from me also, Cassandra.
The others farewell, but for your mother this isn't possible.
And my brother Polydorus among the horse-loving Thracians.
If he really still lives, I am skeptical, and I am totally luckless.
He lives, and he will close your eyes in death.
I am dead, before death because of my troubles.
Attend me now, Odysseus, and place my robes about my head, since even before the sacrifice my heart is wasted by mother's laments, and I waste hers with mourning. O light of day, since I can address your name, no time remains with you, save for how long I go between the sword and the pyre of Achilles.
Oh, I faint. My limbs lie loose. Oh, my daughter, touch mother, stretch out your hand, give. Don't leave me childless. I am lost, friends. If only I could see the Spartan women, sister of the Discoroi, Helen. For through her lovely eyes, most shamefully did she bring hell to Troy's happiness.
Breeze, sea breeze, since you attend the seafaring swift skiffs against the sea swell, to where will you send miserable me on my journey? At whose house, as a bought slave, will I arrive? To the haven in the Dorian land, or to Phthia, where they say the father of the finest waters, Apidanus, makes fields fertile? Or in the islands, miserably sent out by the briny oar, keeping a pitiful livelihood in the house, where both the firstborn palm and the laurel extend their sacred shoots for Leto, a pleasing talisman for the birth pains from Zeus.
With the Delian maidens, shall I praise the golden headband and bow of divine Artemis? Or in the city of Pallas, on the saffron robe, will I yoke the foals of Athena with their lovely chariots on cunningly wrought embroidery, bright woven saffron threads, or the race of Titans, which Zeus, son of Cronos, puts into deepest sleep with the fires flaming about? O my children, O my fathers and my land, which falls to ruins in smoke, smoldering, spear won by the Argives. But I, in a foreign land, am called slaved, having left Asia, homes in Europe traded for bedrooms in Hades.
Where, you Trojan girls, can I find her who was once queen of Ilium, Hecuba?
Here she is lying near you, with her back on the ground, Talthybius wrapped up in her robes.
O Zeus, what should I say? That you are watching humans, or that you have acquired this reputation in vain, and we falsely believe there is a race of gods, and that chance oversees all things among mortals? Was this not the queen of the Phrygians, rich in gold? Was this not the wife of Priam, rich in blessings? And now her entire city is razed by the spear, and she herself a slave, aged, childless. Upon the ground lies, defiling with dirt her wretched head. Woe, woe, I am an old man, but still may I die before falling to some shameful chance. Get up, unhappy one, and lift further, and raise your side and snow-white head.
Let me be. Who is this who does not let my body lie? Why do you disturb me in my grief, whoever you are?
I am Talthybius. I've come to do the work of the Danaans. Agamemnon sent me, lady.
Dearest man, have you come to announce it seems best to the Achaeans to add me to the sacrifice of the tomb? How then would you say things friendly to me? Come on, let's hurry up. Lead me on, old man.
Your girl is gone, lady, and I've come after you so that you bury her. Both the two sons of Atreus and the Achaean people send me.
Oh, no. What will you say? You haven't really come for us so we can die, but to signal more trouble. Dead you are, O child, ripped from your mother. We are childless after you. Oh, wretched me. How did you make an end of her? Did you show her proper respect? Or did you approach the terrible deed by killing her as an enemy? Old man, speak, even if you'll say some unwelcome things.
Double are the tears you require me to reap, lady, in pity of your daughter. For both now by speaking her troubles I will wet this eye, and so did I before when she died by the grave. The whole mob from the Achaean army was present by the tomb for the sacrifice of your girl. The son of Achilles, Neoptolemus, took Polyxena by the hand and stood her upon the mound's top. I was nearby. The young men chosen from the Achaeans were gathered to restrain the bucking of your calf and followed behind. Taking in his hands a full cup all of gold, the son of Achilles, Neoptolemus, raises with one hand libations to his dead father. To me he signals to herald silence to the whole army of the Achaeans. And I positioned myself in their midst and said, "Silence, Achaeans. May the whole people be quiet. Silence. Quiet." And I made the mob calm down. And he, Neoptolemus, said, "O son of Peleus, my father Achilles, receive from me these libations of appeasement, summoners of corpses. Come, so you may drink the dark, pure blood of a girl, which to you we present as a gift, the army and I. Become favorable to us, and grant release to the prows and moorings of our ships, and grant us all to happen upon a gentle homecoming to the fatherland." So many things he spoke, and all the army joined in prayer. Then Neoptolemus took hold of a gold-crusted knife, dragging it from its scabbard, and he nodded to the young men picked from the army of the Argives to grab the virgin. And she, as she considered the situation, made this speech: "O Argives, who sacked my city of Troy, I consent to death. Let nobody touch my skin. I will offer my neck firm in resolve. By the gods, let me go and kill me free, so I may die free. For among the dead, I feel shame to be called slave, though I am royalty." The people around roared their approval, and Lord Agamemnon said to the youths to release the virgin. And they released Polyxena as soon as they heard the last word from him whose power is greatest. And when she heard this command of her masters, she grabbed hold of her robes from the highest shoulder and tore them down almost to her hips. And she revealed her breasts and bosom, as beautiful as those of a statue. And dropping her knee to the earth, she spoke the boldest speech of all. "Look right here, young man, Neoptolemus. If you are eager to strike my chest, strike here. But if it's under the neck you want, then this throat is here and ready." And he, both willing and unwilling, by pity of the girl, cuts with his blade the pipes of her breath. Her life streamed away, but she, even in death, still planned carefully ahead and fell with propriety, hiding what one must from the eyes of males. And after she let go her breath in fatal slaughter, all of the Argives took up different tasks. Some from their hands threw leaves on the dead girl, while others were building the pyre by bringing pine logs. But anyone slacking off heard such abuse from another who wasn't. "Are you just standing there, you miscreant, holding in hand neither robe nor adornment for the young lady? Aren't you going to give something to her who was so great in resolve and best in spirit?" In saying such things about your dead daughter, I see you are of all women best in children and worst in luck.
Some awesome
sorrow is this which boiled over on Priam's daughters and on my city by the compulsions of the gods.
"O daughter, I know not what part of troubles I shall look to when there are so many present. For if I should touch one, this one here doesn't let me go. And then some other grief calls me aside in succession of my troubles on troubles on troubles on troubles. And now I could not wash from my mind your suffering, so as not to mourn you. But now you've really removed the excess in the reports of your nobility. Isn't it amazing that if some bad soil gets some timely luck from the gods, it bears corn well? But good soil, if it misses the things it needs, then it gives a bad harvest? But among men, always the wicked is nothing else than bad, and the good is always good. And because of disaster, he does not corrupt his nature, but is always good. Do parents make the difference? Or education? Still, also a good upbringing teaches what is right. If someone should learn this well, he knows the shameful, having learned it by the yardstick of the good. And yet a mind shoots forth these things like a vein in arrow, like arrows. But you, go and tell this to the archives. Let nobody touch her, as far as I'm concerned, but keep that mob away from my girl. In a large army, the mob is insatiable, and the anarchy of soldiers is stronger than fire, and the man not doing anything evil is tagged evil himself. And you, women, you take then an urn. My old handmaid, dip it in the salty sea and bring it here, so that I may give my child her final bath. The unmarried bride, the virgin, no virgin, and I might lay her out. How worthily? From where? I couldn't. But as I'm able, for what would I suffer, collecting a gown from the spear-won women, who sitting by me dwell inside these tents? Perhaps one has slipped by her new masters, some theft from her own home, some dress. O image of my house, O once blessed homes, O you richest, blessed above all in children. Priam, here am I, the aged mother of your children. Thus we have come to nothing, stripped of our earlier spirit. And then do we puff ourselves up, one of us because of his wealthy houses, another because he is called honored among citizens. These things are nothing. The vain plans of minds and boasts of the tongue. That man is most blessed, to whom each day nothing bad happens.
For me, disaster was necessary. For me, pain was necessary. From that moment when first Alexander cut the pine forest of Mount Ida to launch his sea voyage for the bed of Helen, whom gold-gleaming Helios illuminates as most beautiful. Labors and compulsions stronger than labors come circling around, a common travel from a private Aegis deadly upon the land of Simois, and disaster came to the others. Strife was judged on Ida as shepherdman judges the three daughters of the Blessed Ones, leading to the spear and murder and outrage of my chambers. Some Spartan girl with many tears at home also groans around fair flowing Eurotas, and upon her own gray head the mother of dead children sets her hand, claws her cheek, setting her bloody nails for mangling.
Women, where is all suffering Hecuba, who is victorious over every man and woman in contest of troubles? None will take her crown prize away.
What is it, you wretched person, with your cries of bad tidings? How these painful announcements never seem to rest.
To Hecuba I bring this pain amidst troubles. It is not at all easy for mortals to speak auspiciously.
She happens now to be passing through the house. Look, she appears at the sound of your words.
Oh, all wretched, and still more so than I can speak. Queen, you're dead. You no longer exist, though you still behold the sun's light. Childless, husbandless, stateless, destroyed.
You speak nothing new, hurling abuse at those already aware. But why have you come to me attending this corpse of Polyxena, whose burial was announced as the earnest work of all the Achaeans, all those Greeks?
This woman knows nothing, but I think she laments Polyxena and doesn't grasp her new woes.
Not again. Surely you don't bear here the Bacchic head of the prophet Cassandra.
You lament the living girl. but the dead boy here you don't yet mourn. So gaze upon the bared body of the corpse. See if some astonishment appears to you, even beyond expectation.
Oh, boy, I see a boy, my boy dead. Polydorus, whom a Thracian man was keeping safe in this house for me. I am finished, lost, I am no longer existing. Oh, child, I begin my Bacchic song from a god of vengeance in late learning of my troubles.
Did you, unhappy woman, recognize your son's disaster?
Unbelievable, unbelievable. New things I weep. Troubles after troubles meet troubles. Never will a day without groans and tears hold me.
Terrible, O sad one, terrible troubles we suffer.
Oh, child of an unhappy mother, by what lot are you dead? By what fate do you lie there? By the hand of what human being?
I don't know. I found him at the seashore.
Thrown out on the smooth sand or felled by a bloody spear?
An ocean wave bore him from the sea.
Oh, I understand the sleeping vision of my eyes. No dark-winged ghost passed by me. The vision I saw about you, oh child, that you no longer lived in Zeus's light.
Who killed him then? Can you say by interpreting dreams?
My guest friend, the Thracian horseman, where his old father had placed him in hiding.
Oh no, what will you say? He killed him to get the gold?
Unspeakable, unnameable, beyond wonders, unholy and unbearable. Where is the justice of guest friends? O most damnable of men, how you butchered his flesh, cutting with an iron knife his limbs. You did not pity this boy.
O suffering one, how the divinity that made you most suffering among mortals is heavy on you. But I see the shape of the master here, Agamemnon, so let's be silent, friends.
Hecuba, why do you delay coming to cover your child in a grave, especially since Talthybius gave me your order that none of the Argives touch your daughter? We let you have your way and didn't touch her, but you are dawdling so much that I'm amazed. I've come to fetch you, for matters have been handled well there, if any of these matters could be well. Wait, what man do I see here at this tent? One of the Trojan dead? For the robes enfolding his corpse tell me he's not Argive.
Oh, miserable one, for I address myself addressing you. Hecuba, what should I do? Throw myself at the knees of Agamemnon here, or bear my troubles in silence?
Why, turning your back to my face, do you weep? Won't you say what's been done here? Who is this here?
But if, considering me a slave and hostile, he should shove me from his knees, we'd be put to more pain.
I am not a prophet by nature, so that without hearing, I'd still learn the path of your plans.
Do I then calculate his mind to be more hostile when he's really isn't hostile?
If you wish me to know none of this, you've reached the same place as me, for I also do not wish to hear.
Without this man, I would not be able to avenge my children. Why do I keep turning these things over? Daring is necessary, whether I am lucky or not. Agamemnon, I beseech you by your knees here and by your cheek and your blessed right hand.
Seeking what matter? Is it to make your life free? That's fairly easy.
No, not at all. With vengeance extracted on the wicked, I would willingly spend my whole life in slavery. It's nothing at all, you might guess, my lord.
And for what assistance then do you call us?
Do you see that corpse over there, for which I weep?
I see, but I can't understand what's coming next.
I brought this one to life once, and I carried him inside me.
But which one of your children is this, you wretched woman?
He's not one of the sons of Priam dead under Ilium.
Well, did you then give birth to another one than them?
Yes, and with little profit, it seems. I bore the one you see here.
Where did he happen to be when the city was destroyed?
His father sent him away, fearful of his death.
To where then did he remove him alone from his other sons?
Into this land, the very place where he was discovered dead.
To the man, Polymestor, who rules this land?
Here he was sent as the guardian of that most bitter gold.
And at whose hands or by what fate is he dead?
Who else? The Thracian guest friend killed him.
Oh, wretch. And I suppose he lusted to seize the gold?
Exactly, when he recognized the disaster of the Phrygians.
But where did you find him? Or did someone bring the corpse to you?
This woman did, stumbling upon it on the seashore.
Was she looking for it or working at some other task?
She went to bring some bath water from the sea for my Polyxena.
The guest friend killed him, it seems, and threw him out.
Buffeted by the sea, his flesh hacked through.
Oh, your sadness of unmeasured hardships.
I am lost. No trouble still remains.
Alas, alas, what woman was born so unfortunate?
None, unless you mean Fortune herself. But listen, why I fall upon your knees. If I seem to you to suffer things lawful to the gods, then I would accept them. But if the opposite, then may you become an avenger for me against the man, the most sacrilegious guest friend, who, fearing neither those below the earth nor those above, has done this most sacrilegious act. He who often shared my dinner table, holding the first rank of hospitality among friends, and though he received such things as are required, with forethought, he committed murder. And if he wanted to kill him, I didn't even deem him worthy of a grave, but cast him out into the sea. While we may be slaves and without strength, the gods still are strong and their rule is law. We believe the gods exist by reason of law, and we live with the clear distinction between just and unjust. If law, having returned to your hands, will be destroyed, and if whoever kills their guests does not pay or dares carry off the sacred things of the gods, fairness is not possible among men. Therefore, counting these things among the shameful, have reverence for me, pity me, and having stepped back like a painter, behold me, and examine such troubles as I have. I once was queen, but now I am your slave. Once lucky in children, now I am at once old and childless, cityless, alone, most wretched of mortals. Ah, miserable me, where do you turn your feet away from me? It seems I'll do nothing now. Oh, how miserable I am. Why then do we mortals labor and pursue other studies as if they're all necessary, but we do not work to fulfill our understanding of persuasion, the sole ruler of mankind, by giving it money in payment, so that it would then be possible to persuade and acquire all at once whatever one wished. How therefore could one still hope to succeed? For those who once were my sons no longer exist, and myself I am driven by the spear to shameful acts, and I see the smoke here leaping out over our city. And yet perhaps this is a stranger to my argument, to toss in Aphrodite. But still it will be said, by your side, Agamemnon, my daughter lies, the seer of Phoebus, Apollo, whom the Phrygians call Cassandra. Where will you tally your pleasurable nights then, Lord? Or for those passionate embraces in the bed, what thanks will my daughter have, and I for her? Both from the shadow and from the love charms of night arises the greatest joy to mortals. Listen then now, this dead one here, do you see him? By treating this one well, you'll do a favor for your brother-in-law. My speech still lacks one part. If only voice were in my arms and hands and hair, and the step of my feet, whether by the arts of Daedalus or some god, that all together they might grasp your knees, weeping, bringing all sorts of prosecution speeches. O master, O greatest light to the Greeks, be persuaded. Extend to an old woman a hand of vengeance, even if it's nothing. Still do it. For it is the mark of a noble man both to serve justice and everywhere always to treat the badly bad.
Remarkable how everything happens to mortals, and the laws of necessity demarcate them, placing the most bitter enemies in friendship and putting in enmity those previously friendly.
With pity I hold you, and your son, and your fortunes, Hecuba, and your suppliant hand, and on account of the gods and justice, I wish the unholy guest friend to pay this price of justice. If only somehow it might both appear that I am favorable to you, and I would not seem to the army for Cassandra's sake to plan this murder for the Lord of Thrace. For there is a matter where confusion has fallen on me. This man the army considers an ally, and the dead one is their enemy. But if this one here is kin to me, then this matter is separate and is none of the army's business. Think these things over, since on the one hand, you have me willing to work with you and provide swift help, but on the other, I'm slow if suspected by the Achaeans.
There is nobody among mortals who is free, for either he is a slave of money or chance, or the city's populace, or written law. Keep him from using his character according to his judgment. But since you are in fear and allot more weight to the mob, I myself shall make you free of this fear. For understand first that if I should plot some trouble for the murderer of this man here, you would not be an accomplice. Next, if some uproar or defense appears from the Achaeans on behalf of a suffering Thracian man, for such things he will suffer, keep them away, while still not appearing to do me a favor. But as for the rest, don't worry, I'll take care of it nicely.
But how? What will you do? Will you take a blade in your old hand and kill the barbarian man, or do with it poisons or by some other means? What band of men will you have? Where will you get your allies?
These tents here conceal a mob of Trojan women.
You mean the spear prizes, the prey of the Greeks?
With these women, I shall take vengeance on the murderer of mine.
And just how will women acquire power over men?
Terrible is their number, and with deceit, hardly beatable.
Terrible indeed, yet still I find fault with feminine force.
But why? Did not women take down the sons of Aegyptus and utterly empty Lemnos of men? But so let it be. Let go this argument. Then send this woman here safely for me through the army. And you approach the Thracian guest friend and say, Hecuba, the former queen of Ilium, invites you on a need to know less yours than hers. Your sons too, since the children also must hear the words from her. Agamemnon, you hold back on the burial of freshly slaughtered Polyxena, so that the sibling pair, a double anguish to their mother, may lie close by in a single flame, and then be covered in the earth.
These things will be so. And yet, if the army could set sail, I could not grant this favor to you. But now, since God releases no fair breezes, they must remain watching for calm sailing. May it turn out well somehow, for this matter is common to all, both to each private citizen and to the city, that the bad suffer badly and the good succeed.
You, O fatherland Ilium, will no longer be counted among the unsacked cities. Such a cloud of Greeks conceals you, sacking you spear by spear, your crown of towers hacked off. Stained in defilement with the most miserable smoke, wretched city, no longer will I set foot on you. At midnight I was lost, when after feasts, sweet sleep upon my eyes was spread, and retiring from the dances and songful offerings, he lay down, my husband, in your bedchambers, his spear shoved on its shoulder, no longer watching for a naval brigade that had trod Ilium's Troy.
I was arranging my hair, bound up with nets, beholding my golden mirror's limitless gleamings, so I might fall into bed. But clamor came through the city, and this was the order down through Troy's town. You sons of Greeks, when, after sacking the summit of Ilium, will you come to your own homes? Abandoning my bed, barely clothed like a Dorian maiden, clinging to the august Artemis, I, wretch, achieved nothing.
But having seen my bedmate dead, I am led upon the salty sea, looking away back to the city, when the ship moved my foot from homecoming and split me from the land of Ilium. Miserable, I collapsed in pain.
The sister of the Dioscuri, Helen, and the herdsman of Ida, baneful Paris, I curse them both. since their marriage blasted me from my ancestral land and made me homeless. No, not marriage, but some misery from a spirit of revenge.
May the salt sea not return her home again, nor may she reach her father's house.
O Priam, most beloved of men, and you, most beloved, Hecuba, I weep beholding you and your city and your offspring who have died just now. Alas, nothing can be trusted, neither good reputation nor that one who succeeds won't then fail. And the gods themselves disturb things back and forth, establishing confusion so that by ignorance we worship them. But why must one lament these matters and make no progress before troubles? Yet you, if you at all would reproach my absence, please hold off, for I happened to be away in the midst of the borders of Thrace when you came here. And then after I arrived home, I barely set foot outside my house when this slave woman of yours fell into the same place, speaking words which when I heard I came.
I'm ashamed to look you in the eye, Polymestor, while lying here in such troubles, to be seen by someone who knew me when prosperous shame holds me that I happen to be in this lot where I am now, and I would not be able to look you right in the eyes. Please don't consider it hostility to you, Polymestor. Besides, custom is somewhat responsible that women don't behold men face to face.
And it's no wonder at all. But what need do you have of me? On what matter did you send my foot away from my house?
A private matter of my own do I want to speak to you and your sons. Order your attendants for my sake to stand back from this house here.
Go away, for the solitude is secure. A friend you are, but still a greater friend to me is this army of the Chians. However, you must explain why the successful man must provide protection to his unsuccessful friends. Thus I am prepared.
First, tell me about my son whom you kept in your house, Polydorus, from mine own hand and from his father's, whether he still lives. The rest I'll say second.
Sure, your part in him prospers.
Oh, my dearest man, how you speak in a way worthy of yourself.
What second matter do you wish to learn from me?
Does he still remember me at all, his dear mother here?
And in fact, he was seeking to approach you here in secret.
And the gold safe, which he brought from Troy?
Safe and guarded in my home.
Keep it safe now, and don't covet your neighbor's things.
No way. May I benefit from what is here already, lady?
So do you know what I wish to tell you and your sons?
No, I do not. In your speech, you will signal this.
There is, you man, dear to me then, and so dear to me now.
What matter must both I and my children know?
The gold of Priam's sons, its ancient hiding place deep in the earth.
This is what you want to show your son?
Indeed, through you, of course, for you are a pious man.
Why then do you need presence of my children here?
It's better, in case you should die, that these ones know.
You've spoken well, and it's also wiser thus.
So do you know where are the chambers of Trojan Athena?
The gold is in that place. What sign is there?
A black rock rising above the earth.
So is there anything else of what's there you wish to tell me?
I wish you to keep safe the money with which I came here.
Where is it then? Do you keep it in your robes or have you hidden it?
It is safe in a mass of plunder inside these chambers.
But where? You're surrounded like a harbor by Achaeans here.
The chambers of the spear won women are private.
And it's safe inside and empty of men?
None of the Achaeans are inside. We women are alone. But come into our house, for in fact the Argives long to free their ship's footing from the Troy towards home. Thus having accomplished all you needed, you may return with your sons to where you lodged my child.
Not yet have you paid, but perhaps you will pay justice. As someone having plunged into a harborless sewer, you will fall away from your heart's desire, your life lost. For where liability concurs with justice, and God's there is a deadly, deadly trouble.
The hope of this path will trick you and has driven you to deadly Hades, you miserable man. and you live life by a hand unaccustomed to war.
Oh, moi! I'm blinded at the light of my eyes, wretch.
Did you hear the Thracian man's lament, friends?
I cry, oh moi, once again even more, children, at your miserable slaughter.
Friends, new troubles are accomplished inside the house.
But may you not escape by a nimble foot, for I'll strike and crash open the heart of this house. Look, a blow is readied by a heavy hand.
Do you want us to attack? How it's high time for our presence as allies for Hecuba and the Trojan women.
Go on and smash. Spare nothing. Break open the gates. For never will you set bright sight in your eyes, nor will you see alive your sons, whom I killed.
So have you laid low the Thracian guest friend? And do you rule him, my lady? And have you actually done such things as you claim?
You will see him very soon before the house, blind, moving by blind feet, and the bodies of his 2 boys whom I killed with all these best Trojan women. To me he has paid justice, and here he comes, as you see from the house. But I'll get out of the way and stand back from the rolling, unconquerable Thracian rage.
Oh moi, where should I go? Where stand? Where find harbor? Walking like a 4-footed mountain beast on hand and foot? What sort of path shall I take, this one or that, desiring to seize the man-murdering women of Ilium, the ones who destroyed me? Cruel, cruel daughters of the Phrygians, in what corners do they cower in flight from me? If only you, Helios, might heal the blinded, bloody sockets of my eyes, exchanging them for light. Silence! I detect the secret step here of women. Where could I rush at them and sate myself with their flesh and bones, setting out a feast fit for savage beasts, reaping outrage and retribution for my atrocity? Oh, wretch, where, how am I carried, leaving my children alone for the bacchantes of Hades to carve up, slaughtered, a bloody banquet for dogs, mercilessly hurled out on the mountainside? Where can I stand, where sit, where walk as a ship with its rope set at sea, gathering my saffron flax robe, driven as a guard of my children upon this den of death?
Oh, wretch, you have done such unbearable troubles. Punishments to you who committed acts terrible and shameful. Has some god given who is heavy on you?
Aye, come, clan of Thrace, spare being armed on your fine horses, subjects of Ares, you Achaeans, you Atrides, help, help, I cry, I help. Oh, come by the gods, come! Does anyone hear, or will no one defend me? Why do you delay? Women destroyed me. The spear-won women, terribly, terribly we have suffered. Oh, my outrage, where should I turn? Where should I journey? Flying up to heaven's high vault, where Orion or Sirius flings burning beams of fire from their eyes, or should wretched I speed into the dark skins?
It is understandable, whenever someone suffers troubles stronger than daring, to attempt escape from a wretched life.
I heard your screams and came, for the child of the mountain rock, Echo, was not silent, but has clattered through the army, producing an uproar. If we had known the towers of the Phrygians had fallen by the Greek spear, this crashing here would have provided fear in no small portion.
Oh, best of friends, I heard and recognized, Agamemnon, your voice. Do you see what we suffer?
Polymestor, you miserable man, who destroyed you? Who blinded your eyes, bloodied their pupils, and who killed these boys here? Surely whoever it was held a great rage at you and your children.
Hecuba, along with the spear-won women, destroyed me. Not just destroyed, but worse still.
What are you saying? You did this deed, as he says. You had the heart, Hecuba, to do this impossible act of daring?
Oh, moi. What will you say? Is she somewhere nearby? Is she? Give me some sign. Say where she is so that I can grab her with my hands, tear her apart, and cover her skin with blood.
You there, what is happening to you?
By the gods, I beg you, let me aim my furious fist against this woman here.
Control yourself. Expel the barbarian from your heart and speak, so that having heard both you and this woman in turn, I may decide justly in return for what you are suffering so.
I would speak then. There was a certain youngest son of Priam, Polydorus, a son of Hecuba, whom his father Priam gave from Troy to me to raise in my house, since he was suspicious of Troy's fall. This one I killed, but why I killed him, listen, how it was done well and with wise forethought. I feared lest the boy left hostile to you would rise up and inhabit it again. And that the Achaeans, having realized that one of Priam's sons was still living, would gather another armada against the land of the Phrygians, and then ravage this plain of Thrace and plunder, and there to be trouble for the neighbors of the Trojans, the very one in which now, my lord, we are laboring. Hecuba recognized the fatal loss of her boy, and led me along by this story, how she'd tell me of the golden treasures of Priam's clan, hidden in Ilium. She leads me alone with my children into the tent so that nobody else might know these things. I sit on a couch in the middle, having bent my knee. Many daughters of the Trojans, some from the left and some from the right, took their seats, as if by a friend, and they were praising the Edonians' hands weaving, grazing upon those robes under the light. Others who were examining my 2 Thracian spear shafts, and made me naked of my twin-pronged protection. And as many mothers as there were, full of admiration, tossing the children in their hands, passing them hand to hand so the children might be far from their father. And then from the gentle speeches, how do you suppose? They immediately take blades from somewhere in their robes and stab the boys, and others like octopuses, all together grab me, holding my arms and legs, while desiring to defend my boys. If I could lift up my face, they seized my hair, and if I stirred my hands in my misery, I achieved nothing because of the mob of women. Finally, a woe worse than woe, they completed their terrible deeds. For my eyes, they grabbed from their brooches, they stabbed the wretched poor pupils of my eyes and bloody them, and then throughout the tents they ran in flight, and I leapt out like an animal pursuing the foul murderous bitch dogs, tracking them along every wall like a hunter, striking and smashing. I have suffered such things in pursuit of your favor, and in the actual killing of your enemy, Agamemnon. And so that I may not have stretched my speech out too long, if someone of those who lived before spoke badly of women, or someone who lives now, or someone in the future, I shall speak having already abridged all these matters. Neither sea or earth nurtures a race such as this one, and every time the one who meets them understands.
Don't be so bold, nor blame the entire female race, lumping them in with your troubles, for there are many of us, some of whom who are called hateful, while others are natural among the number of the wicked.
Agamemnon, for humans, it was never necessary for the tongue to have more power than deeds. But if one has done good things, one should have said good words. But if his deeds were wicked, then his words be rotten, and never able to speak well about injustice. So the experts about these things are clever, but they are not able to be clever forever, and they die badly. Nobody has ever escaped. Your business is part of my preamble, but I'll go to this man and I'll answer his arguments, you who claim to have been doubly lightening to the Achaeans' load and acting because of Agamemnon when you killed my boy. But you most vile of men, first, never would the barbarian race ever become friends with the Greeks, nor could it. Currying, what sort of favor were you so eager? To form some alliance in marriage, or being a kinsman, or holding what cause? Or were they intending to sail back here and hack down your harvest? Whom do you think this will persuade? The gold, if you want to speak the truth, killed my boy and your prophet. Next, explain this. How was it when Troy prospered and the towered wall still surrounded the city, and Priam lived and Hector's spear flourished? Why then, if you really wanted to do favor for this man, did you not kill the boy you kept and raised in your house, or bring him alive to the Argives, to the Greeks? But when our light was put out and the city signaled by smoke, it was under enemies you cut down a guest friend who'd come to your hearth. In addition to these arguments, now hear how you appear evil. You should have, if you really were a friend to the Greeks, brought the gold which you say was not yours, but his to keep, and given it to the men who are so needy and who for a long time have been away from their ancestral land. But you, not even now, can you bear to release it from your hand and keep it under control at your home. And by protecting my boy as you should have protected him, safe and sound, you would have a great glory. For amidst troubles, the good becomes friends most clear. Good deeds keep friends every time. And if you needed money while he prospered, my boy would have been a great treasure for you. But now you don't have that man for your friend, and both the benefit of the gold and your own boys are gone. and you did it by yourself. But I say to you, Agamemnon, if you defend this man, you will appear evil. You will benefit a guest friend, neither pious nor trustworthy, where he should be, nor just. We will say you rejoice in evil men, being such a one yourself. But I don't verbally abuse my masters.
Phew, phew. How good mothers always give to mortals the occasion for good works.
Burdensome it is for me to judge another's troubles, but still a necessity. For it also brings shame if I take this matter into my hands and then shove it away. To my mind, so that you know, you seem to have done a favor neither to me nor to the Achaeans by killing a man who was a guest friend, but merely so that you could have the gold in your own home. You say things advantageous to yourself because you're in trouble, so it was easier among you people to kill a guest friend quickly. But for us Greeks, this thing is shameful. How then, having found you innocent, could I escape reproach? I would not be able to, but since you dared to do things not noble, submit also to things not of your liking.
Oh, moi. By a woman, it seems I am beaten by a slave woman, and I will now have to submit and pay justice to my inferiors.
But is it not justly, since you did evil?
Oh, moi. My children hear, and my eyes retch.
You feel pain. Why? Don't you think I feel pain for my boy?
You rejoice in your outrageous treatment of me, you villain.
Must I not rejoice in my vengeance against you?
But not too fast whenever the ocean damp.
Won't ferry me to the borders of Greece?
Will cover you when you have fallen from the masthead.
When I've happened upon a violent fall, at whose hands?
You yourself will place your foot on the ship's mast.
With wings on my back, or in what sort of way?
A bitch dog you will become, possessing fiery eyes.
How is it you know of my metamorphosis?
The prophet to the Thracians, Dionysus, said these things.
And he prophesied nothing of your current troubles?
No, for otherwise you would never have taken me thus with deceit.
Dead or alive here shall I complete my life?
Dead, your tomb will acquire the name.
Won't you say it's named after my shape?
The tombstone of a wretched bitch, a signpost for sailors.
Nothing is a concern to me, since you at least have paid back justice to me.
And necessity is that your daughter Cassandra die.
I spit it back in your face. I give those for you to keep yourself.
The spouse of this man here, a bitter housewife, will kill her.
May the daughter of Tyndareus not yet be so wild with madness.
And this man himself when she raises up the axe.
You there, are you mad, and are you in love with falling into troubles?
Kill me then, since bloody baths await for you in Argos.
Will you not haul him off violently, servants?
Do you feel pain listening?
Will you not restrain his mouth?
Shut it, for my speech is complete.
Will you not, as quick as you can, expel him somewhere on a deserted island, since he mouths in this way with too much boldness? Hecuba, you miserable woman, come here and bury the two corpses. And you must draw near the tents of your masters, women of Troy, because I see these winds here escorting us homewards. May we sail well to our fatherland, and may we see our affairs well at home, freed of these toils here.
Go to the harbors and tents, friends, to try on the hardships of our masters, for necessity does not bend.
After Agamemnon exits right and the chorus follows, Hecuba is left alone with the corpses, which are withdrawn with the akuklama. Hecuba follows and enters the tent in order to prepare her children for burial. End of play. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the bookend to this week of Greek tragedy. A special round of applause for our readers. Thank you so much for taking the time on a Sunday night, no less. It was really, really moving to hear it read aloud and really well read all around. Thank you so much. Maybe again, if there are questions, maybe I'll invite you to bring them up at lecture this week on Tuesday or in your discussion sections. You can also email me. I'll be happy to try and answer them myself or direct them to my colleagues. One final round of applause and thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Good night.
Sophie.
Everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
you.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
all.
Thank you, Sophie, for organizing.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Good
Bye.
reading. Good reading.